We've got some exciting news to bring to you guys today, and it's all about BMW, their Boxer engines, and the automatic transmission.
And that's always some interesting news because there's not a lot of motorcycles out there that have automatic transmission options, and now there's going to be another player in this segment. Now, of course, we have to say right from the get-go, if you already know how to work a clutch and you're comfortable doing that, then bikes like these might not appeal to you. But if you're a new rider and using a clutch is potentially a barrier to entry for you, then this could open up the world of motorcycling to you by taking one more factor out of things. So what we want to talk about in this video is what this technology is, how it works, and what we expect that it's going to show up on as far as motorcycles go.
Totally, yes. So before we jump into BMW's system, we'll kind of talk for a second about what we've had some experience with already, which is Honda's DCT, their dual clutch transmission. And that's by far the most popular system out there and the one we've had the most time to play around with. And that does a lot of the systems for you on the bike, but there's no shift lever by your foot. So you've got a little paddle button or a toggle up on the left handlebar switch that allows you to toggle through gears, but the bike will still kind of decide for you within the right parameters where the bike needs to be, depending on your speed and the RPMs. So it will still make adjustments for you, but it's all hand controlled when you do want to go in and change gears manually.
Yeah, and you can, to your point, choose those gears yourself, or you can just allow the bike to do that. And on some of the motorcycles that Honda puts that on, it seems to make sense, especially on a bike like the Honda Rebel, a cruiser, a motorcycle that some people might get into because it's got a low seat height. It's a relaxed riding position on that motorcycle. And so it could be a good bike to get into for just cruising and taking it easy with some of your buddies out there on the road. And again, that transmission is unique because it's controlled at the handlebar, as far as if you want to shift gears yourself. And that system is also a dual clutch. Now, this BMW system works quite a bit differently. This is not a dual clutch.
No.
It's essentially an automated clutch and an automated gear shifting mechanism that is all controlled electronically.
Yeah, so whereas the Honda DCT has two clutch packs, and the first one will work for gears 1, 3, and 5, and then the second clutch pack will operate gears 2, 4, and 6. So that system is actually changing gears and engaging the clutch on a certain gear before it actually makes the transition to the new gear. So a lot going on there. It's really advanced. This, on the other hand, still has, a traditional master cylinder and slave cylinder, except it's not linked up to a lever on the handlebar. Instead, there's a sensor and an actuator that's going to engage and disengage the clutch. So it's a little more like your traditional motorcycle with a hand-operated clutch, except there's technology in the system to do all that stuff for you.
Exactly, and that's kind of a basic, not super technical overview from a couple of non-engineers. But what that means for you as the rider when you hop onto one of these BMW bikes is that you won't have a clutch lever. So in that way, it's similar to the Honda system. But really the biggest difference as far as operating it goes is if you want to shift gears yourself, you are still going to use a lever at your foot like you would on a standard manual motorcycle. And kind of like the Honda system, with this BMW system, you can use that foot control to shift through the gears yourself, or you can let the motorcycle make those decisions on its own. And that is a little bit more old school because there have been other automatic motorcycles in the past. Honda being one of the companies that made an automatic transmission option on the CB750 back in the day. And similarly, that was a foot control. So this BMW is working like some of those old school systems, but using more modern technology to do it.
Yeah, totally. And BMW shared a couple photos with us, and you can see that missing clutch lever up on the left handlebar, but there's a new button. It's kind of got these two interlocking gears to, to resemble that it's for the transmission. And there's 2 modes that'll toggle between your D mode and your M mode. So D is the fully automated mode. I'm guessing they chose the letter D because like drive for a car. And then you have a manual mode where, then you're going to go through and actually use the foot lever. Whereas in D mode, you don't even need to worry about the foot lever. It'll just use BMW is saying the engine speed, throttle position, and lean angle from the IMU to determine what gear you're in. And then if you switch into M mode, you have a lot more control, but still it's going to monitor the bike. And if you're not exactly in the right parameters to make a gear change, it will kind of smooth those out for you. So there's still a little bit of automation going in the manual mode, but you still should have pretty much full control over what gear you're in.
And that's the basic rundown of how it works. But the information that we don't have from BMW yet is a confirmation on exactly which motorcycle models that this is going to come on. But they have said that it is for the Boxer engine. So this 6-speed automatic is likely something that we'll see probably on some GS models potentially, and then maybe even down the line on some additional Boxer models. So it remains to be seen what all bikes they're actually going to release this on. And again, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have no interest in this technology and are resistant to it. But at the same time, looking at some numbers from Honda's dual clutch sales, it seems like the take rate on some of their dual clutch bikes is actually pretty decent. So there's a market out there for this. And to us, anything that removes a barrier to entry for people to get into motorcycling that otherwise might not have is potentially a great thing. So it'll be interesting technology to see when it comes out.
Yeah, totally. I mean, for me, one of the most fun parts about riding a motorcycle is doing exactly what this is getting rid of, is engaging the clutch and shifting through all the gears manually.
Absolutely.
I love that. At the same time, I'm not the best off-road rider, and sometimes a huge bike like a flagship GS is a little intimidating to get on when you're on really steep, rocky, insane terrain. And this is one of those situations where, I'd probably appreciate not having as much workload on a motorcycle, cutting the things down I need to think about and just worrying about the terrain I'm rolling over.
There's potentially some great situations to use it in. We're definitely in the camp of saying and recommending that if you want to get into motorcycling, learning how to use a clutch and shift your own bike is a great skill to have. But if that's just an absolute block in the way of someone getting into motorcycling, then potentially this could be a really awesome thing as an option for some of those people who don't care to learn how to use a clutch and shift a bike for themselves. So.
Exactly. We're moto enthusiasts. We're making videos reviewing motorcycles. So we're obviously going to be in that crowd that's like the diehard. But like I said, looking at the numbers, there's a lot of people that are interested in these bikes.
Absolutely.
Like you said, we don't know exactly what bikes they're coming in yet. We don't have pricing for this system, how much it's going to cost on top of, the full-on manual traditional transmission option. And we also don't know when these are going to become available in some of the new models. But as soon as we get that info, we'll be sure to share it with you. But for now, we just kind of wanted to give you a little rundown on the newest information that BMW's put out.
Yeah, so let us know what you all think of this new transmission option that's going to be coming to BMW's lineup fairly soon. And that's all for this video. We'll see you in the next.